Hey guys, Asap here and welcome to PHP tutorial number 30, I think we are on now. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at the Sql Select Command, okay, which allows us to retrieve data in rows from databases and tables in MySQL. So let's go straight into the MySQL command line. Again, if you can't access this for some reason, just use the SQL form thingy in PHP MyAdmin, okay? But otherwise, use this if you can. Now, the select query, basic format of it is first the keyword select, okay, and then the first type we're going to cover today is where we type select, and then we type a space, and then we type the columns which we want to retrieve the data of. So I've just realized I can't actually do this yet. I need to be in a database, so I'm going to use data, and now I'm just going to describe the users table because I've forgotten the things in it. Okay, so now I can see all the fields in it. I'm going to say select, and then I have to put a space again, and then a comma separated list of the columns which I want to retrieve data from. So now in this case I just want to retrieve the ID, then the last name, and then the first name, okay? And again, these names here have to be identical to the names in here as they are in the database. So we say select, and then we give our comma separated list, and then we say we have to specify which table we want to retrieve these fields from. So we put the keyword from, and then we type the table name, so in this case users. And if I just hit semicolon, and run that, you can see here we get the ID, the last name, and the first name, and the fields are in order of which ones we asked for. So if we said, if we did the above one, but we did, last name, then ID, then first name, okay, and then submit that, you can see we get the last name, then the ID, and then the first name, okay. So quite quickly you guys have actually learned how to retrieve data from tables. Now, one thing I want to tell you, I don't actually know why this would be useful, but I'm just going to tell you that it's possible, is that you can retrieve columns twice. So you can say select ID, last name, first name, and then last name again if you wanted from users, and this will this is legal. So you can see we get the ID, then the last name, then the first name, and then last name again. So that's that's one of the types of select queries, and we would only use that select query if we wanted to, if we only needed a few of the columns to be, if we only need data from a few of the columns. But if we need data from all the columns in the table, there is a much quicker way to do it than typing out all the fields, because if you have a really big table with lots of fields, it could get quite long and pointless. So the way to select all of the fields from a table is, again, type a keyword select, then space, and then shift 8, which gives an asterisk, which means it's a wildcard basically, and it means all. It means you probably can't tell what I'm saying because of my accent, but it means all, okay? That's what the asterisk wildcard means. So that will essentially say select all the columns and then from users. And if I enter that, you can see we get all the columns. So we get, that's really muddled and disgusting. I can't actually expand this. It's all horrible because the DOS window can only go so big. So I'm actually going to do this. I'll do it in the PHP MyAdmin, just so you guys can see it much more easily. Data, users, SQL. Now, Okay, we've already actually got that exact same query here. And these little things are the things I showed you about last time. Remember, they're not quotes, they're not pipes, they're not apostrophes. That was an apostrophe actually as well. Not commas, they're not double quotes. They are these little weird characters. And if you can find them, you can put them in. If you can't, don't worry about it. So select all from users, and if I run this, you'll see it will actually be a lot more nicely formatted. Okay, and when you hit browse, when you're in a table in PHP MyAdmin and you hit browse, that actually runs the same query, apart from this little bit which we'll be talking about in the next few tutorials. But as you can see here, it tells us what query it runs whenever we do something in thing. So if we type some stuff in there and then hit go, it will show us the query it's executed to do that. Okay, so if we hit browse here, you can see the query is exactly the same apart from that little bit at the end. And let me just delete that row. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Next tutorial, we're going to look at making a little application. Or actually, no, we can't yet, can we? Okay, never mind, we're not actually going to make an application. The application will be actually quite in the future, thinking about it. Because what I need to do is I need to teach you about all the other bits of SQL you can do. And then I need to teach you guys about setting up SQL, so setting up PHP so you can execute SQL statements in PHP. But for now, guys, over and out.